Now on to the Salbek Pyramid in our continuation of the stories of mysterious artifacts and finds in Russian Asia. The Salbek mound is located in the famous Valley of the Kings in Khakassia and dates back to the 14th century BC. The base of the mound is a square with a side of 70 meters. In the 1950s, an expedition of scientists found a whole complex resembling Stonehenge. Inside the mound, huge megaliths weighing from 50 to 17 tons were brought to the valley from the bank of the mighty Yenisei River. Then the ancient people overlaid them with clay and built a pyramid not inferior to the Egyptian ones. The remains of 3 warriors were found inside. Archaeologists attribute the mound to the Targaryen culture and still cannot answer how the stones were brought to the valley. Now, to the Mammoth, Kuria, and the Yanska encampment. And they raise many questions about the encampments of ancient people discovered in the Arctic Russia. This is the Mamontov or Mammoth Kuria site in Komi Republic, which is 40,000 years old. Here, archaeologists have found bones of animals killed by ancient hunters of deer, wolves, and mammoths, scrapers, and other tools. No human remains were found. 300 kilometers from Kuria, encampments were found that their age was 26,000 to 29,000 years ago. The northernmost encampment was the Yana campsite, found on the terraces of the Yana River. It dates back to the age of 32,500 years. The most important question that arises after the discovery of the sites is who could have lived here if there was an era of glaciations at that time. Previously, it was believed that people reached these lands 13 to 14,000 years ago. And now, ancient medicine in the Altai Mountains. The mystery of the Piziric medicine, the burials of the Piziric culture in the Altai Mountains, were discovered in 1865 by archaeologist Vasily Radlov. The culture or civilization was named after the Piziric area of the Ulagan district, where the tombs of the nobility were found in 1929. One of the representatives of the culture is considered to be the Ukok princess, a Caucasian woman whose mummy was discovered on the Ukok plateau. It has been recently revealed that the Piziric people had the skills to perform skull trepanation already 2,300 to 2,500 years ago. Now neurosurgeons are studying the skills as well as the skulls with traces of operations. And they're discovering very interesting things. Trepanation were carried out in full accordance with the recommendations of the Hippocratic Corpus, a medical treatise that was written at the same time in ancient Greece. In one case, a young woman apparently died during surgery. In another, a man with a head injury after the trepanation lived for several more years. Scientists say that the ancients used the safest method of bone scraping and used bronze knives. Now, about the Altai. Another discovery, quite accidentally, made it in the early 1990s in the southwestern Altai, near the border with Kazakhstan, indicates that since the time immemorial, Siberia has been inhabited by people with a very high level of development and most likely differing from modern men in their anthropometric dimensions. In the mountains, speleologists, or cave explorers, came across a complex of caves which presumably could serve as a dwelling for an ancient man. The total area of the discovered caves was more than 1 1.5 square kilometers. There were large grottos connected by passages and had only 3 exits to the surface. Inside, huge horizontal slabs were found embedded in the rock, similar to tables. All these places were so large that it would be impossible for modern men to use them. But the most interesting thing for the participants of the expedition was revealed in a distant grotto, the entrance to which was covered by a massive vertical slab with petroglyphs stamped on it. It took the efforts of 6 men to move the slab and enter inside. What was the surprise of those who entered when, once in the cave, they saw on its sloping vault an image of a star map of the sky, illuminated by sunlight falling from 3 small holes in the ceiling. The nameless creators of this miracle achieved that simultaneously with the movement of the sun in the earth's sky. The map of the sky applied to the ceiling of the cave also changed. The petroglyph resembles protagonists of films, modern films about space flights. Due to the onset of twilight, the expedition members were forced to leave the caves and descend into the gorge to their camp. The next morning, they made another attempt to explore the mysterious complex. However, speleologists failed to find the entrances to the caves once again. According to reports since then, no one else could get into the realm of mountain giants. The accidentally discovered settlement of giants was reflected in the Turkic legend about the tribe of heroes, with whom one of the Asian rulers made a contract. According to the agreement, in exchange for the most beautiful girls, the giants had to protect the ruler's kingdom. However, when the waters of the warm sea were still splashing on the side of the Karakum desert, the giants withdrew from their habitable places and left forever. Soon the great kingdom fell, and the fragrant oases were buried under a layer of sand. One of the most interesting is the story of a group of people with tails, who have semicircular formations on their heads. Among them stands out a giant with a square painted on his chest, which could represent the receptacle of the soul. Above the tailed people, it is easy to notice a huge beast with a toothy mouth. According to one hypothesis, this monster was a devourer of souls, which cleansed them of filth before entering the upper world, according to the perception of the world of that culture. According to another hypothesis, the drawing of the procession of people under the mythical beast depicts the rite of initiation of young men into male warriors. Now let's talk about the Kalbak Tash, the sacred place that it used to be for the people living here at different times. The solar symbols recognized in the petroglyphs suggest that this place was used both as an observatory and as a kind of a temple. Kalbak Tash, also Tyalbak Tash, is a site on the right bank of the Chui River in the Onguday district of the Altai Republic. The place is famous for petroglyphs, which are represented by anthropomorphic, solar, and zoomorphic images. The latter include images of deer, horses, and cows. Petroglyphs belong to various historical periods, from the Neolithic to the ancient Turkic era. The petroglyphs of Kalbak Tash are made with both stone and metal tools. The territory with the gallery of rock paintings is fenced. An independent sighting tour is possible, as well as under the guidance of a special guide. It is amazing that in addition to symbolic drawings of animals and people, many drawings depict objects shaped like modern spaceships, with a capsule attached to the hull at the bottom and large flames from below. You can't help thinking that our distant ancestors were frequent witnesses to special space flights. It is quite possible that the The disappearance of the mysterious people is explained by another legend, which tells about a terrible war that broke out in those parts several millennia ago, in which the opposite sides even used what we can term today as nuclear weapons, judging by the description. So that's what I wanted to let you know today. If you like my research, please kindly support me through the links you'll find in the description to this video. Please tell others about my channel. Thank you for your attention to my work. I'll bring you more interesting reports from Russian Asia and other parts of Eurasia, including China.